So students, I hope you all have completed this question. Okay. Now students, with this question you have completed your admissible deduction parts of income from house property, that is section 23, section 24. You have completed the both sections. Okay. Now students, section 24 you have completed the deductions part in subsection A and subsection B, that is our income subsection A and subsection B of section 24 of Income Tax Act 1961. Now students, note a very important point here. Students, if a person is getting pre-construction period interest as a deduction, interest for pre-construction period, write it here as complete. Okay. So students, I told you that including this pre-construction period interest, a person who is getting this money for self-occupied house property, he will get the maximum deduction as rupees 30,000 or rupees 2 lakh as the case may be, including interest of pre-construction period. Now student, as this is a maximum limit, some assessees what trying to do is that students, there are some other deductions which we can claim from from the interest part on the loan, from the interest on loan part, which we can claim in other provisions of our Income Tax Act, which we will discuss in chapter 13 of our syllabus, that is reductions from GTI. Okay. Suppose student, if a person is getting deduction from GTI, that is from gross total income, for the part of interest which he is paid or payable for the loan which he took for the purpose of his house property. For example, if he is taking deduction of 35,000 under here, 35,000 under here, chapter 13 is a chapter number of our syllabus. Okay. So if he is getting deduction from 35,000 here, now the question is whether he can claim rupees 2 lakh deduction here plus 35,000 deduction under here, that is from GTI, gross total income. So the answer is no. If he is taking deduction of 35,000 here, so here his maximum deduction will be rupees 2 lakh minus this 35,000. Same in the case of 30,000 limit also. If the question is about R3, maximum limit shall be 30,000. If the question is about CA, maximum limit is of 2 lakh. Okay. Friends, I have also mentioned this point on the page number 10. You can check it out also. This thing can become in your MCQ part, that is in your multiple choice questions. So keep it in your mind. If in fact, student, this question can come in your practical question also. Okay, so it is very important, that is interest on borrowed capital for the period prior to the previous year in which the property has been acquired or constructed, pre-construction period, as reduced by any part thereof allowed as reduction under any other provision of the act. So now you learn the meaning of that. What is the meaning of deduction of any other provision of the act? You have to deduct that part from it. Okay. Now student, with this question and with this last but not the least important point, we have completed our admissible deductions part. So just congrats. So congratulations to you. A big congratulations to you. Okay. After this students, we are going to discuss about inadmissible deduction. Till now, we have discussed that what are the admissible deductions, what are the deductions which are admissible to get deducted from our income. Now we will learn about inadmissible deduction, that which incomes are not deducted from under income from house property. Okay. So student, in this part we are going to read about only one line, one thing, one provision. Okay. There is only one provision of inadmissible deduction, which is very easy. Student, tell me one thing before starting this part. I want to share something with you. I want to share something with you. Student, we have completed a chapter income from salary, chapter number 4, previous to this chapter. Okay. In which, in that part, I said you that a person will get some part of reductions. In fact, instead of students, just do one thing. Instead of referring that chapter, because I'm also giving a chapter wise course to my students, so it will get difficult for them. I'm changing some example. Okay, students, suppose there is Mr. A. There is a Mr. A. He has a business. He has a business. Okay. Although you have not done PGBP yet, but you will be able to learn this example in a very easy manner. Now student, he achieved the income of 1 lakh rupees, or okay, 10 lakh rupees per annum. 10 lakh rupees per annum. He paid to his employees rupees 7 lakh 50,000 rupees 7,50,000 to his employee, so he will get net income of rupees 2,50,000 only. Yes, ma'am, as he is deducting, as he is distributing 7,50,000, so it will not be an income for in his hand. So income tax will go to tax on this income only for Mr. A, that is rupees 2,50,000. It means, students, for Mr. A, income tax has deducted his expenditure from it. Now the question comes, ma'am, why income tax is getting so kind to Mr. A? Why he's giving such large deduction to Mr. A? Is it that okay, all employee salary can be deducted from your part? So here the answer, here the logic behind our whole income tax between act is that he is getting deduction because this 7,50,000 will be taxed in the hands of employee under income from salaries, under the head income from salaries, as it is the salary of that employee. Those employees will pay tax on it. Those employees will pay tax on it as income tax is getting tax on this 7,50,000 from employee. So he gives the deduction to Mr. A here. Student, this is the logic behind a complete income tax act. That if income tax is going to give you any deduction of any kind, it means he is getting tax on that amount from some other person. This is the real fact. Okay, now what happens? Now what happens, students? That as we said that a person who is paying the amount which is payable for interest on borrowed capital, he will get deduction of it. Okay, now it must be happened that Mr. B, who has to give rupees 50,000 as interest on rupees 10 lakh to the other person, the other person is from UK, that is United Kingdom. Other person is from UK, that is United Kingdom. Mr. F is from UK. Mr. B has to give him rupees 50,000 string. But now when Mr. B is giving this money to Mr. F, it means this 50,000, he will get deduction from it as it is an interest for him. Yes, ma'am, he will get deduction under section 24B. Now the question is, why income tax will give him a deduction of rupees 50,000 as Mr. F is of UK. Mr. F is of UK and Mr. F is not giving income tax to our India. So why they will get to bear the loss of this 50,000 rupees tax on this 50,000 rupees. So students, what actually happen is, as you all know, as this income is from India only, as this income is from India only, an Indian person, an Indian resident, an Indian person is giving, and the source is from India only. So income tax will get income tax from it in the manner of student. Income tax act, IT is not here, information technology is income tax act. Okay, so income tax act said to Mr. B, income tax states that if you are paying any interest which is payable outside India, so either this person must have an agent in India from which we can collect. If Mr. F has an agent in India, we can collect income tax from Mr. F, Mr. Agent of Mr. F, no problem. Otherwise, if there is no agent of Mr. F in India, then you have to deduct tax at source from this rupees 50,000. It means, friend, TDS provision will applicable here. Now, what are the TDS provisions? Simply, we can say that, friend, while paying income to any other person, if income tax is in fact thinking that yes, this recipient of this money is not going to give us money, so he said to payer that okay, payer, deduct income tax already from this amount, and now giver and now payer of this money, you pay this amount to us, and the balance you can pay to your recipient, you can pay to your provider of money. Okay, so students, interest chargeable under complete TDS provisions we will learn in chapter number 9. It is also in our syllabus, so do not worry. Interest chargeable under this act which is payable outside India shall not be deducted. It will not be deducted. It will be admissible if TDS has not been paid, if tax has not been paid or deducted from such interest, and in respect of which there is no person in India who may be treated as an agent. Now, students, here it is right as and why it is right as an and means these are collectively conditions. These conditions are to be fulfilled aggregately. Okay, cumulative conditions are there. Cumulative, why it is cumulative? Because if tax has not been paid or deducted from such interest, but there is an agent in India, so no worry why it will be inadmissible. If their cumulative conditions are satisfied, it means tax has not been deducted or paid from such interest, and there is no agent in India also, so it will be an inadmissible deduction. Okay. Now student, this point has been completed. Just here it has been completed in admissible part. Now the next is student, provisions for areas of rent and unrealized rent which is received subsequently, that is section number 25A. This is section number 25A. In admissible deductions, you need to know, you need to learn no section, but for this there is a section number 25A. Student, while computing our income from house property, in fact, while computing actual rent received or receivable, we give the deduction of unrealized rent to assessee if conditions of Rule 4 are satisfied. Yes, ma'am, we have given. Now, students, for example, if Mr. B, our assessee, has claimed that rupees 20,000 has unrealized, Mr. Z, who is tenant of Mr. B, is not giving this 20,000 rupees in previous year 1920, and he has taken all the steps, but Mr. Z is not giving them money. Okay, now Mr. B has taken the deduction of rupees 20,000 as unrealized rent, but now it might be happen that Mr. Z realizes his mistake, that he should not do fraud with any person. Okay, as it is a sin to do fraud with any person, as it is a sin, is it a very big sin? So Mr. Z realizes it in the year 2122. He comes to Mr. B and said that, Mr. B, I don't want to do any fraud with you. I realize that it is a sin, and I don't want to bear any loss due to this sin. So I am paying you this rupees 20,000. It means Mr. B has taken the unrealized rent deduction from actual rent received or receivable, but now he is getting this money. As it is getting this money, it is an income for him, so he has to pay tax on it. It means in the previous year in which he is receiving, that is in the year 21-22 previous year, in the previous year in which he is getting this money, he will pay tax on this money in that year only. Okay, and student, as as a in the previous year 2019-20, he will get deduction of flat 30% from this part 24A, subsection A of section 24, 30% NAV. So in the same manner he will get deduction of 30% of 20,000 here also. Okay, in that he will get deduction of only NAV. Whether NAV includes actual rent or expected rent, it will not, it will be the consideration of here, but here he will get flat deduction of 30% of this amount while paying income tax. Okay, that is a flat deduction here. And students, as it is on unrealized rent which is received subsequently, so while giving him the deduction of 30%, no need to mention section 24A here. No need to mention it here, because it is on the unrealized rent which is received subsequently. Okay, that 30% which is about 24A, which it is about 24A, which is on 30% of NAV, so do not quote this section here. Okay. As per section 25A, subsection 1, the amount of rent received in arrears from a tenant or the amount of unrealized rent realized subsequently from a tenant by an assessee shall be deemed to be income from house property in the financial year in which such rent is received or realized. Okay, and shall be included in total income of the assessee for that year. Subsection 2 of section 25A says that there will be a deduction of 30% of arrears. Okay, subsection 1 of section 25A charge tax on it, and subsection 2 of section 25A gives deduction of 30%. And from NAV, section 24A gives, here section 25A subsection 2 gives. Okay, now students, the next is illustration number 10. Mr. Anand sold his residential house property in March 2019. Okay, he sold that property. In June 2019, he recovered rent of rupees 10,000 from Mr. Gaurav, to whom he had let out his house for 2 years, from April 2013 to March 2015. Okay, he could not realize 2 months rent of 20,000 from him, and to that extent his actual rent was reduced while computing income from house property for assessment year 2015-16. It means he get deduction of unrealized rent of rupees 20,000 in that year. Further, he had let out his property again from April 15 to Feb 19 to Mr. Satish. He had increased the rent from 12,000 to 15,000 per month, and the same was the subject matter of dispute. But since what happened in April 2017, what happens is he had increased the rent from 12,000 to 15,000, but those increase of rupees 2,000 was matter of dispute. It means that was area of rent. That was area of rent. Finally, in September 2019, the matter was finally settled, and Mr. Anand received 69,000 total as areas of rent. Areas of rent. As this area of rent was not taxable in that year because that was a matter of dispute, he has not a condition that whether he will receive or not, so it will not get taxable in that year. What happened will now, student, that computation of income from house property. First, unrealized rent recovered, which is wait, rents. Wait, student, wait. There's a printing mistake. Let me check it. Okay, student, there is a printing mistake. Either you can take it as 20,000 or take it as 89,000 and change your question in the same word, or either you can change the figures in your question, change it by 10,000 instead of 20,000. Okay, there's a printing mistake here, so you can correct it. Whether you can correct the answer or you can correct the question. Unrealized rent recovered. I am assuming it as you are changing in your question. So 10,000. Areas of rent received 69,000. Total he received 79,000. Then he will get deduction of 30%, 23,700. So income from house property, taxable income shall be 55,300 only. Okay. Now student, the next section is section number 26. In student section number 26, it is said that for it is said that if an house property is co-owned by two or more owners, it means this is a house property and the owners of this house properties are Mr. A. This house property is in the name of Mr. A, Mr. B and Mr. C. So now how this property will get to be taxed in the hands of Mr. A, B and C. Okay, friends. So where property is owned by two or more persons whose shares are definite, it means whose shares are ascertainable. We can calculate their share. That for example, Mr. A has a share of 30% in this property, Mr. B also has 30% and Mr. C has a share of 40%. It means they have a definite and ascertainable share. So student, in that case, what will happen is, as these shares are definite and ascertainable, so student, it will treat as an income of this person in the individual hand. But if these shares are not ascertainable, if the shares are ascertainable or indefinite, then in that case, we will treat it as that it is an AOP of Association of Persons of ABC, and in the hands of AOP, Association of Person, as an assessee, it will get tax. Okay. In the same manner, that is as per section 20 to 25, we will compute income for these honors per string. This point is very important, as here they are getting an additional benefit. The owners are getting additional benefit where the house property is owned by co-owners is self-occupied, and as we know that in the case of self-occupied, interest deduction is limited to an extent of 30 lakh or 2 lakh. But students, now each co-owner, that is Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C, they will get deduction of this 30,000 or 2 lakh in their hand as a different path. It means the each co-owner shall be entitled to a deduction of 30 lakh or 30,000 or 2 lakh as the case may be on account of interest on borrowed capital. So all of them will get benefit of deduction in this case. Okay. Now what happens is, after it might be happened that Mr. A who has a share in this property, he has also another property for which he has taken an amount of and he is now going to repay the interest on that borrowed capital. So now in this case, the aggregate part here shall be rupees 30 lakh or rupees 2 lakh as the case may be. He cannot do that. He can claim the deduction of 2 lakh for this property and for 2 lakh for another property. No, cumulatively it will be rupees 2 lakh or 30,000 as the case may be. Okay. And where the house property owned by co-owners is let out, the income from such shall be comprised as the property owned by one owner, and thereafter the income shall be apportioned, the income shall be divided between different partners as we done in our accounting. Okay, friends. Now, all the section number 26, all the provisions of section 26, I have summarized it in the following table. You can refer it from here also, but after thorough reading of those sections. Okay, while revising the point, you can revise it from here. Student, I have mentioned the illustration number 11, which is completely based on our previous section. So you have to do is, in this question, Miss Aparna co-owns the residential house property in Calcutta along with his sister Miss Dimple. This is your homework. This is your in fact self-assessment test. Okay, so you have to do it. You have to do it. In case of any query, you can ask. Next part is of deemed ownership, that is section number 27. Deemed ownership, section 27. Student, do one thing. If I still here, do this question. In case of any query, firstly solve your query and then read the last but not the least section of this chapter, that is section number 27, which is of deemed ownership. Very easy section. We are going to complete in a very easy way. Okay.